Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Two Hot Ass Takes.
Yeah. Episode
Yeah, episode 2. Today
Yeah.
we're gonna go over the Barbie movie, obviously.
Yep.
Box office smash. Basically TKOing every blockbuster that's dropped this year on its way to $1 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, set records for I believe the director now
hmm
is one of the a small group of like million or $1 billion box office directors. So,
Yep.
shout out, kudos to her.
She's in a very, very small club.
She's in a
The
very
only other
small
movies that are in that, there's only a couple, right? It's like Avatar, Titanic,
a lot of them are
Dark Knight.
dominated by superhero movies.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Black Panther.
she's up
Yeah.
there with the greats, Like,
Yeah, when it comes to pop culture, like
hmm
slam dunks, she went Vince Carter in the dunk contest on that.
Yep, killing it.
Facts. So
Well,
big shout out
I
to
think,
her.
yeah, like I saw that and I was like, you know what? Good for her. Like at first I was like, what do we really have to talk about with Barbie movie? But like it's I don't know, kind of like they're making like historic moves with it and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a historic move, and actually, so I mean, in my opinion, they did what GI Joe couldn't do, which is deliver a decent movie. GI Joe is awful. That's another movie based off a
We don't
toy brand.
we don't talk about G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
No,
but
I'm just kidding.
and she did what Transformers couldn't do, which was deliver a box office smash that actually has a decent story. Because the
Yeah.
Transformers, although visceral robot action, nothing like watching Optimus Prime and Bumblebee whoop ass for 2 hours. I
Yeah.
love it.
I like the first Transformers.
Yeah.
I'm good on the rest.
I Transformers I only watched to see Optimus Prime go ham.
So fun background about me is when like I was like 19 to like 22, I worked at a movie theater at the Palms. Um, and I used to run film projection and all that. And
Yeah.
like so like I don't know, this Barbie movie thing kind of brings me back to that nostalgia because I worked there when like The Dark Knight came out and the first couple Iron Mans and like a really dope ass time in cinema. So like
Yeah.
I don't know, this kind of brought me back to that time because I was like, I fucking love Barbies growing up, and it just reminded me of just all the shit I used to do back then.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
definite. And they also, I think this was unintentional, but the way that they and Oppenheimer capitalized inadvertently off of like,
Barbenheimer.
yeah, off of like social media interactions without actually having to spend any money. Like we
hmm
promoted the movie for them as a pop
It went,
culture event.
yeah, it went viral like with a lot of memes. I saw a lot of them where Barbie was like standing next to mushroom clouds and Oppenheimer was smoking a cigarette in front of the dream house pool. Yeah, I
Exactly.
love that shit. But yeah, so like, yeah, the memes that were generated through these movies is like top tier. So,
Yeah.
so what did you think of the movie though? Like you saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it. I actually saw them both. So
I didn't watch
it's
Oppenheimer yet. I haven't had time. And
a good movie.
I heard it's very stressful. It
Yeah.
is about the Manhattan Project, so that I know that's yeah, terrible.
But overall thoughts.
Did you like
Okay.
it?
Yeah. So let's start off, right? It's a good movie. Definitely worth seeing. Like that is a movie that if you are a woman who has experienced any kind of like struggle in your life, so that should be basically every woman, right? Or every
hmm
person, and you have a little sister, a niece, someone you mentor, whatever that's growing up in this day and age, take them to go see this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a very good movie. it was actually, I knew that the cultural impact for young girls in this movie was huge when I was sitting in the theater and there were a group of girls like sitting like maybe like a I think like a row behind me and a couple seats off. And at one point in the movie, all you hear is sniffles because they are just bawling and they're just completely and utterly just like taken aback by like what it's being said in the movie and it's resonating with them. So
Yeah,
absolutely a movie that needs to be seen.
I agree. Like I personally, I saw it 2 times. So like I grew up with Barbies. I was a very like solitary child. I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't allowed to have friends over. Like my parents were super protective. I
Yeah.
get it. Um, so a lot of my escapes when I was a kid was Barbie. So when I heard this movie was being made, and then I saw the pictures of them rollerblading on the beach, and
Yeah.
I was like, I fucking had that one. I was like, hell yeah. So I got super excited. Actually, like I brought this out. I
Shout
love
out.
her. I've
Yeah,
had this since
we can see her.
1998. It's Wedding Day Barbie.
Shout out to Wedding Day Barbie.
Hell yeah. I keep her in my living room. I look at her often. Actually, like she was the inspiration for the outfit I picked when I actually got married. So,
Okay. Look at
like
Barbie
Barbie,
and Mattel.
Barbie, I love her. And so, like, I saw the movie twice. The first time I saw it, I kind of didn't really understand the point that they were trying to make with the Kens. I
Yeah.
don't know. It just kind of went over my head, I think, because I got all the parts about the feminine energy and the family
Yeah.
or female relationship between mothers and daughters and how like mothers watch or like do what they can and then watch their kids not have to go through what they went through and they made that point briefly when the creator of Barbie like appeared or whatever. But
Yeah.
it also addresses a lot of issues with like patriarchy and stuff. So I liked the points that I did get the first time. The second time I got more of the overall points because I wasn't so focused on like the outfits and
Yeah.
things that I recognized that I owned myself that were remade in the movie.
Able to take the nostalgia out of it and view it as a piece of cinema.
Yeah, and like we had talked that we were gonna actually like do this podcast, and I was like, okay, if we're gonna talk about Barbie movie, I'm gonna go watch it and watch it from a more objective point. Because the first time I was like, I had that ambulance, that ambulance that pops up on the beach. I own
Yeah.
that shit. Some of the outfits that they threw in the air, I had some of those. Like I got a lot of Barbie clothes that were passed down to me from like my aunts and shit. So like I really I don't know. The first time I watched it, I was just like, fuck yeah. It was like a lot of eye
Yeah.
candy for me. So yeah, my overall opinion of it though is relatively positive. And like that scene you're talking about, the America Ferrera speech, that
Yeah.
resonated with me. Both times that I watched it, I fucking choked up when I hear that. Because that is the female experience. So
Exactly.
I thought it was
So
a really good encapsulation of what it is to be female. Like you have to be thin, but you can't be too thin and you can't be too fat. And if you are fat and you want to lose weight, you gotta say you want to be healthy. And even if you do that, people are gonna make fun of you for it. You can't talk
yeah.
about your kids, but you're supposed to be a mother. Like all those things that she said, like that's real shit. So I really appreciated that they brought that to the forefront of what the message they were trying to make.
Yeah.
So
So they definitely this is a movie for those who identify with it. If
yeah,
you identify
definitely.
with this movie or you can understand or you can identify with the struggle that people face. Like me, I'm not a woman, but I identify with the struggles of having to be within a marginalized group
Mm,
and having to walk on a tightrope while juggling, while also breathing fire, while doing sword swallowing on a unicycle. Like I resonate with the struggle of having to be perfect when perfect isn't possible,
yeah,
and
yeah, and
still not being perfect, even when you are like, even when you achieve all those things, they're like,
hmm
let's move the goalpost.
yeah, like I remember it was like late 2021. You and I were having a conversation. I think we might have been working at like at the office or something like that,
Yeah.
but. we were talking, and like I was going through a rough time, and you were like, you have a great job, you have a great life, you're trying to be healthy for yourself, and you still feel like you're not doing enough. And I remember like that conversation, when I heard that in that speech, I thought about that shit. I was like, damn, I remember when Adrian told me some shit like that. Ugh.
And I didn't make $1 billion, right?
Yeah, it's like America Ferrera fucking phone tapped us or some shit.
Damn, I had $1 billion on the line and I fumbled the bag.
You
I
fucked up.
yeah, I mean, I should have wrote. I mean, I did write the script basically. I just wrote it
Yeah,
2 years in advance and got wiretapped. You know,
yeah. Fucking Ryan Gosling.
damn it.
But yeah, no, I thought this movie was fantastic though. Overall, there were some like issues that I did have in general, though, even after the second watch.
Yeah,
And I've discussed it with you before this, but like, I feel like Ken, like his ending was kind of just not a resolution, because like he sits there and he has this conversation with her up in the room of the upper stairs of the dream house, and he's like, without you I'm nothing, and she's like,
exactly.
you're just Ken, and he's like, I'm just me. And then
Yeah,
he slides down a slide and goes, I'm just me, and then all of a sudden he's okay, and he gets rid of the coat, and that dude
yeah,
says some serious ass shit like, we fought because we did not know, or like whatever the
yeah,
fuck he says. But
yeah,
like I just thought that that was such a cop out. Like, why couldn't Ken? Like, I know it's not about Ken, and I guess maybe that's part of the point. But like, I feel like considering that they gave him so much meat in the story, that kind of negated his storyline, and they could have left him
yeah,
out, and it really wouldn't have mattered.
yeah. Honestly, I also I agree with you in the sense of I, I mean, for it to be a Barbie movie, Barbie's story is told in totality. It's complete to where if they don't need to do another Barbie movie if they didn't want to, right? But the
They
money,
already
money
greenlit a
talks.
sequel, I heard.
Yeah, money talks, right?
Yeah,
Ken is billed as basically the co-protagonist of this story, even from a storytelling perspective. He
hmm,
dominates damn near equal screen time as Barbie in this story.
yeah,
Yet I mean, because at one point he becomes the villain in this story, and his resolution didn't equate to his journey.
yeah,
Because I mean, he, as well as the other Kens, go through. I mean, they're treated as accessories because let's be real, Barbie is the headliner and Ken is an
is just
accessory.
Ken.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
an accessory. But I feel
he
like
really is
yeah,
in the doll world.
they missed a moment to to validate Ken's existence, as well as I mean, there are men, young men, boys who are going to see this movie who they had a chance to speak to, and I believe they missed it because the whole point is to not pass on generational traumas, right? Like as a
Yeah,
parent, you don't want your kids to go through the things you went through, right? You break generational curses. Certain things have to stop with you so they don't perpetuate down the line. And they had a
yeah.
moment to speak to the young boys, the teens, and whoever else, men who went with their girlfriends or who went by themselves to
Or that
speak.
little boy that got dragged because he has seven sisters.
Yeah. So like you miss a moment to speak to them to help break those generational like curses, and you don't do it
Yeah.
because everything with Ken is a gag.
Yeah, like they use him as an accessory. And like in the Barbie world, like I grew up, I had a lot of Barbies. I don't think I ever owned a Ken doll. I never
Uh,
owned an Alan either.
yeah,
I had Stacy. I had I think it was just Stacy, because Stacy had a couple iterations too. But I had ones just Barbies. I had Barbies of different colors. I had Barbies of
Yeah.
different races, different hair types. Like my mom bought me all kinds of Barbies, but I never got a Ken. And I think that the way they did his story was like they treated him like an accessory, which maybe
Yeah.
that was the point of it. But I
It,
just really feel like they built up all this character development, and in the end they're just like,
yeah. They
eh,
fumbled the bag the best way because, like, I know I've seen online a lot of men are upset, right? Because there's
yeah.
a
I saw
role.
that Ben Shapiro was burning Barbie dolls or something.
Why did he even buy them? All that to buy an item that is a single purchase item, like a jersey, like a Barbie, like any other anything that's consumable or that you own, to buy that, then destroy it, negates the purpose of it because you've already paid them for a single use item. It's
Yeah,
a singular payment. If it's like, oh, I'm gonna go buy Barbies and burn them, you're not all you're doing is
you're
padding.
giving the company money.
Yeah, you're padding Mattel's pockets because you're purchasing Barbies, you're creating controversy, and controversy sells. So now
Yeah,
Ben Shapiro buys a Barbie, burns it. Now someone the opposite. Now I'm gonna buy two Barbies because Ben Shapiro burned one. So
yeah, and
the
I could
only
see it
people who
becoming a
win is
thing.
Mattel.
Really, like, and even if they get them from like a thrift store or whatever, like they're spending money on them. Like
Yeah,
they're still buying into the consumerism of them. So they're
yeah,
not real. I don't really understand the point they're making when
yeah,
anyone burns anything like that.
yeah. Me
So
either.
yeah, but like I did love the "I'm Just Ken" song. I
Oh,
feel
his
like,
music is solid.
yeah, I thought that little montage was just funny. Like, and I
Yeah,
love Ryan Gosling's take once they were in the black shirts in that like jazzercise room or whatever that
yeah.
they had. Like he was laughing as he was singing the song and shit, and like the other two Kens kissed him on the cheek, and he's like, "Ha ha!" Like I enjoyed that. I thought that was
Yeah,
super funny. Even if they just made that by itself, I would have loved that.
yeah. Just like a random video, but if you're a man, it should feel uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable watching the Barbie because it's supposed to. It's a role reversal. It's
Yeah,
taking you, who are seen as basically the leaders, and putting you in it takes you from being dominant to submissive in a
hmm,
situation.
yep,
So it should make you uncomfortable. That's part of the point of 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 media doing these things. Like when you watch a movie that depicts slavery, there's a very fine line between trauma porn and educational history. Now
yeah,
when you watch those acts, portrayed, perpetrated on the slaves by the slave master, is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable
yeah,
because that behavior, you understand that it's morally repugnant. It's not meant to be, something that doesn't
fun.
make you feel and fun and
Yeah. It's not supposed to make you feel warm and fuzzy. It's supposed to be like, this is the reality of that situation. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, at the same time, there's also another side. I mean, they they didn't, like, how they left it, like I said, for the Kens is kind of divisive in my opinion, because what it does show is it shows this movie does one thing. It shows men and women at their lowest behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when the patriarchy took over Barbie Land, the women were pretty much doing whatever the men wanted to get them to like them, which is like
Yeah,
really low. Well,
it's
not
gross.
low, but
It's
it's
gross.
like low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Like just not loving yourself type behavior. And the
Yeah.
Kens playing or knowing that they'll do whatever they say and they can talk to them however, and they expect them to be low commitment,
Oh, what did
long
they say?
distance,
Long
long
distance.
term
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Long term, low commitment, long distance girlfriends, I think is what they called it.
Yeah.
Which
Uh,
that is a thing depending on what your lifestyle is, but in the monogamous world, that's definitely,
Yeah,
not the norm. So like
exactly.
they played or they portrayed like all of men or the men in the world as like these lunkhead
Yeah,
assholes.
they treated them like as if they were cavemen discovering fire. Like they really played
Yeah.
down uh, the men in the movie's intelligence for laughs. And I
Yeah.
mean, that's fine. Right? Like every movie does it. I mean, it's low hanging fruit, and sometimes I mean, not every joke can be a 10 tier joke that you have to understand quantum physics to get. That's a lot of hard damn work. Like
Yeah.
not every movie has to have every single joke be like that, right? So you can grab some low hanging fruit here and there and pepper it in to to break up the monotony of the movie, but it can't
Hmm.
be all of it because then that's lazy. Like
Yeah.
it's just overall lazy. Like the Ken, like Ken comes back, turns all the Kens evil because of the patriarchy, right?
Yeah.
We get it. And then you get to like, why did Ken do that? Because Kens have no value in the Barbie society.
Yeah, they
All
don't even have houses.
yeah, like they make it a point that they don't even care enough to figure out where the Kens sleep. And
Yeah,
like,
and they don't even talk about it at all. She's
yeah,
just like, I don't know where they go at night.
yeah, and I'm gonna get to that a little bit later because like that's part of the point where they could have not fumbled the bag and really like gave
Shown where
them
they live at night and how they're like
gave
sitting on the beach or whatever the fuck they do.
yeah, gave them a moment that could have been funny, but also also helped resolve things, right? To
Yeah.
create value for them.
Hmm.
And like, and then it shows women at their worst behavior too, because once they've lost power, what do? They begin to manipulate, they begin to plot to destroy and pit Kens against each other in totality to just completely ruin them so they can
Yeah. It was like
reestablish
a revenge method or
yeah,
whatever.
to
Yeah.
reestablish the matriarchy, which is, if you return to the matriarchy and like through the same underhanded and manipulative schemes, are you really the hero? Like if you use the exact same tactics to
Yeah.
manipulate and scheme to get into power, are you any better than the person that you kicked out of power?
No. Yeah. Well, damn,
And
that's a hot ass take on that. Boo, boo, boo. I don't know if we put a noise there. I don't know. But yeah, no, yeah, that like most of my problems with the movie really resonated in the Kens thing. I did
yeah,
not like the part with the Mattel executives at all. I thought that was super pointless.
yeah, Loki a
Um,
little cringe.
yeah, yeah, and like her going to the real world and stuff to find the person that was having the thoughts and stuff was a little strange. But the whole Mattel executives part, like there are people I talked to about this were like, "Oh, I love them. They were so funny." And I was like, "Were they though?" They just felt like they didn't need to be there.
Yeah, because minus the Mattel executives, you could have left the creator of Barbie in there, right? Like she could have escaped Mattel and ran into her, and like that could have been a thing. Like it would have been perfect. But the Mattel execs didn't need to be there because you had already played down a bunch of men for laughs. Like you didn't need another group because you were already doing that. So
Yeah,
it's
and
kind
they
of
made
like,
all the executives be kind of idiots too.
yeah,
Like all the men in the movie were idiots, even the ones in the real world.
it's like kicking someone's when they're down because it was just like almost
Yeah.
like doubling down on it. And like I said, I mean, like had for a Ken ending, right? Had the President Barbie said, "We're gonna build y'all houses," that creates value for the Kens. It
Yeah.
like the
They wouldn't
random
even let
throw,
them be on the Supreme Court.
like
Yeah.
if the whole and I mean it just it's funny because she's like, well, we don't, because she said we don't want a world where it's Ken or Barbie, and then you immediately basically backtrack on what you just said
Yeah.
Like, because even the narrator says, you know, right after she makes like the Supreme Court line, she's like, someday they'll have the same amount of power as women do in the real world. The whole point of the movie is how women don't have any real power in the real world.
Yeah.
Like, so we just spent
Even
two
when they're
hours
partners.
Yeah, even when they're partners, even when they're Barbies, even when they're executives dropping, you know, specific like everyday run of the mill bar, like that was the crux of what Barbie and America Ferrera's character were trying to do,
Yeah.
is to like carve out and uplift their women to say like, yo, we don't need validation in order to be strong.
Yeah.
But the narrator literally negates any kind of like resolution for Ken by saying that line because it's contradictory, because like America
Yeah.
Ferrera didn't become a president or something like that. Like they didn't bring on board
She
members
did
that
get a better job at the end. She
she
technically
did.
became an art director person by
Yeah.
designing her doll, but
Mattel stayed a patriarchy as well though. So like
which honestly isn't even accurate because the Mattel executive board, I think it has like 11 people on it and it's a 6-5 split, 6 men, 5 women. Like I honestly I think in this day and age, like I guess they were being representative of like the
yeah,
patriarchy. Like that's what they were trying to do with the
yeah.
executives board. But like honestly, if they had peppered a few women in there that also were acting the same, I think that would have been
That would have been more indicative to reality than anything else,
yeah.
because women can also you know, perpetuate the patriarchy.
Yeah, a lot of top Fortune 500 company executives are female, like currently.
Oh, because and they are
So,
cutthroat, get the job done, straight shark business women, and
oh yeah,
more
100%.
power to them. Go. I mean, if you say that about a man, it's a compliment. You say it about a woman, it's an insult, right? Like, no,
Yeah.
do all of that. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I
they portrayed the real world as like an extreme of what it
yeah,
is, at least on that corporate level. Oh, excuse me.
exactly. So
Cool.
there were just moments where like I say, you build the kin houses, you kind of you show that they have value, and it's an easy wrap up to like, it's an easy slam dunk to that resolution. But again, like even with like all of these like takeaways that we spent talking about, like, you know, what we found an issue with the movie, it's still a top tier movie. Like these specifics that we're talking about are like minute into the overall story. Now, like if we
Yeah.
wanted to see a perfect story, these issues would have been wrapped up for us in order to be like, yeah, that's a 10 out of 10. But like even with these issues, like it's still a solid, like to me it's like a
Yeah.
solid like 8. And if you're like,
I'd put it at
especially,
like an 8. Like,
yeah, I think a solid 8. Like honestly, like especially like I can see what they were trying to do and who they were trying to reach, and I think they did a fantastic job of reaching who they were trying to reach.
yeah, and I didn't think the movie was actually offensive or anything. Like, my main takeaways is I just wish that the Kens had more resolution and that I got a little bit
Same.
more background because a lot of what they were doing was just throwing in nostalgic type
Yeah,
references and stuff. It was a lot of that, which I totally warranted. Barbie has a really wide variety of products
yeah,
that date all the way back to the 50s. So, like, I get that.
yeah,
But I just wish it had a little bit more resolution for him so it was a more well-rounded movie. But
yeah.
overall, my take, it's also an 8 on my scale of 0 or 1 to 10. Well, no, I do have a 0. Year one
Oh
is
yeah.
my 0 movie. That
Oh.
movie is awful. Rest in peace, Harold Ramis, but that was a trash bag. But yeah, I think the movie is great. I do think it is it speaks to women and I think it's important for girls to see it. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And if you want to go see it and then see both Barbie and Oppenheimer, do it. I recommend Oppenheimer first, because it doesn't really
Trauma.
feel like it doesn't really feel like 3 hours, but it's an intense movie, and there's no laughs in it. So like if you want to kind of like start low, end high, that's the better way to do it than like start high and then be brought down into the existential dread of what Oppenheimer and the crew creates. So like
Holy
if you
shit.
see them both, just my viewing
That's the way.
recommendation. Just my viewing recommendation.
All right. Well, it's been cool. Been a good episode.
Yeah.
Real quick. Yeah, so another thing I wanted to kind of talk about was the merchandise from this movie. Um
Make $1 million. You make $1 billion and you're gonna make six more with all the
yeah.
merchandising.
Oh my God. I just stop watching. Sorry, my cat is like jumping on my desk right now. It's crazy. Um so the website though, mattelcreations.com, they have like a whole line of merchandise that's pretty extensive. They are selling the I Am Knuff, a same exact sweatshirt that Ryan Gosling wears in the end of the movie, which is $60 right now. But one thing that something that came across, like, because you get targeted ads when you start researching things
Oh
and
yeah.
looking stuff up. So one of the targeted news articles that I got via Facebook is that Mattel Creations is selling Weird Barbie. So
I heard about that.
yeah,
I heard about that
so
controversy.
everyone that had Barbies more than likely had a Weird Barbie. I had a Weird Barbie. She used to be blonde and she used to be a space woman with a jetpack, but I took all her clothes off. She was naked. She was always in the splits. And I took her hair and I colored it in with different markers and paint. I fucking put makeup on her that was not the makeup she had before. I had Sharpie collection. I went wild.
So
So
she's a space nude gymnast Barbie.
yeah, I had both the gymnast Barbies actually. I had the 1998 Olympic Barbie and the twin Junior Olympic Stacy as well with the fucking double bars and shit. I used to play with those all the time. Actually, I think I have Stacy in my drawer up there. She's naked too. Stacy was my Olympic Barbies had joints though, so like you could contortion them and shit. They had like bendable knees, bendable elbows, bendable wrists. It was kind of cool. But they're selling Weird Barbie for the movie, and it's the same one that Kate McKinnon plays.
Yeah.
So she has the same awesome haircut, very nicely dyed blue and pink highlights in her hair, and then the same squiggles and stuff. But they're selling it for $50. My Weird Barbie was $19.99. It took 2 years for her to get there, but she was $20. So like I see that, and I'm just like, it kind of defeats the point of what Weird Barbie is, because everyone had one, but you made it
Yeah.
that way. So for them to take the character and sell her, and not only sell her as a Weird Barbie, but to sell her for 50 fucking dollars is crazy. I went through the whole Mattel Creations Barbie movie merch page, and all the Barbies from the movie, like stereotypical Barbie, Beach Ken, they all range from 25 to like $30, I think. Hold on, let me
But
double check.
for some reason, this Barbie is 50. That's whack.
Yeah, actually, America Ferrera Barbie is 50.
Uh,
So some of the more fancy ones, like the disco dancer ones and stuff, those ones are 50. President Barbie, but the Beach Ken, 25.
so
Uh,
the one of the stars.
mhm. Stereotypical Barbie, like the very first outfit she wears in the movie when she wakes up at the beginning, that pink checkered dress, she's 25 too.
That's
But
not bad.
most of these are 50 to 75. Like douchebag Ken in the fucking
The jacket.
that jacket, that one's $75. So
Jeez.
yeah, but rollerblading Ken and Barbie are 25.
That's crazy because I know that
Yeah,
they're not using material that would cause the increased, like the need to offset the price of that Barbie at
yeah,
at that price point, other than the
it's
fact that it's popular.
it's a cash grab. And like I knew that they were gonna do that. Like the Dream House, you can get the same one from the movie. How much do
Uh
you think it is?
225.
Nah, 150. But you were close.
Ah, I would have lost on the prices right. I should have
Right.
said $1.
You would have won then. Yeah, but they're selling like a big ass bee, like pool float for $59. So like
That's
they're selling
crazy.
random ass products on here, like a $125 Barbie jean jacket with a couple frays and a patch. You know, the I am Knuff sweater, that thing is fleece. It looks real thick. So that being $60, okay. They might get my money on that one, honestly. But
But can't like I feel like if you just had a fleece sweater and went to any of the like reputable like t-shirt like graphic design shops, you can get it done for like $25.
I looked on Amazon and I don't think Mattel has done like cease and desist on these companies yet, but there's a bunch of people that are selling their own version of the I am Knuff sweater for
Oh.
like 25 and 30. So like if you really want one and you don't want to pay the Mattel $60 price, like you
Yeah.
can get one and still be
Yeah.
affordable. But they
Because
have a
it's
bunch of I am Knuff merchandise. They have mugs, hats, t-shirts.
and
Like
I
it's
think that's
wild
why I think that's why that's Ken's ending.
for merchandise. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
someone had to be there to, to finesse people into spending the money.
Yeah, and like I've always loved Barbie since I was a kid, and like I was like, after I watched the movie the first time, I was like, I bet you I could buy that sweater online. And I looked, and there it was. It was the exact same one that he wears in the movie too.
Oh, because they already had it ready.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
already know.
exactly. And
They
they
had already.
haven't sold out of that one surprisingly, but all the dolls except for Weird Barbie are sold out.
Yeah, there's some article about weird Barbie that they hold on.
Yeah, the one I read, people are like, Mattel releasing Weird Barbie as an actual doll in their collection totally misses
Defeats.
the point of what Weird Barbie is.
Yeah,
Because Weird
weird.
Barbie is the Barbie you love the most.
Yeah, because that's the one that you just like you make weird.
Yeah, that's the one you fuck up. The one that I don't know, the weird sadist little kids of the world probably rip the heads off of or whatever. Like
Now,
most girls like cut the hair off or
like if
you
I
know.
was working for Mattel, and I know they're about to steal my idea, if you were gonna do a weird Barbie, you do a generic Barbie, black, white, Asian, whatever color they like. You go to the website. You can only get it from the website, right? You pick your race of Barbie that you want to buy, and and you pick the hairstyle like a regular like whatever like generic hair, and the pack comes with a pair of scissors, a couple of markers, and a two generic outfits,
Yeah.
so you can make your own weird Barbie. Like it's a
Yeah.
it's a weird Barbie kit. Like there doesn't need to be a weird Barbie because, like you said, the point of weird Barbie is to take your own Barbie and make it your version of weird.
Mm-hmm. In my
So what?
Weird Barbie, I had like the Barbie clothing creation studio, which was like this fucking computer program. It has a little CD. I would put it in the computer and a program would pop up. I would pick out the clothing I wanted. It would print it out, and then it came with markers, and I would just cut it out of this little sheet of paper, and it had self-adhesive. I would put it together, and I would color it, and then put it on that little thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think
Mattel,
encouraging the creativity would have been a better move,
yeah,
honestly.
Mattel, come
But
talk to me. I'll get you another $1 billion easy.
yeah,
You
I feel
know,
like they didn't really do focus groups on anything but the movie.
yeah.
Because if they had done
Look,
a merch like focus group, people probably would have told them shit like this.
and I
But
promise you could sell that weird Barbie kit $100. Everybody's paying for it.
that part, and I'm not even mad at the fact that they're selling it. Really, I just think it's really strange. Like I do like the character though, and like from a nostalgic level, I
Yeah.
would buy it for that. But like, I'm not personally going to get it. I wouldn't buy it for my kid because I'm not going to buy my kid no $50 doll. Why would I
I
do
feel
that?
He said a 99-cent store. Her name's
Yeah,
not Barbie. It's
yeah,
Shannon.
no. So you can just rip it up and tear it up. Like $50 for a little Barbie doll is ridiculous. And I think that like Barbies have become a little overpriced since I was a kid. I remember I used to save up my birthday and Christmas money because my birthday and Christmas are 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So I'd always save my money up and I'd be like, I want to go buy a Barbie. That's what I want. And it would only be like 15 bucks. Granted, this was in the 90s,
Yeah.
but
Extrapolate that plus, plus inflation.
yeah, but a lot, I think it's because they know that these are one-time purchase items and
Oh, yeah.
people, if they have two or three, a lot of the
Yeah.
time they're not going to be getting more. So like now they're
Yeah.
trying to make their buck. But I like that they have the merch available, but I do think that the obvious cash grab items are a little low, but like on the morality spectrum, especially because you want children to be able to afford this shit. And like no parent in their right mind is going to spend $150 on Barbie's dream house for their kid that is 6 that is going to literally throw it. Like just make it accessible for the kids. That's all I'm saying.
Or you can go back to old school way and we just steal them.
I bet you the box is bigger than a PlayStation 5.
Look, if I wanted the brand new Power Ranger, Mama, I'm
No,
glad. I'm glad. Mama, I'm glad you're not here. We going up in KB Toys and we going to work.
just fucking show up with a shopping cart. Sir, we don't even have shopping carts. You do now, bitch.
Right after school in the mall with my backpack. I'm about to get all the Transformers, Cybertron, and Energon toys.
That's funny.
uh, I don't encourage. It's bad. It's bad behavior. Don't be like me.
Yeah.
You know, that was
Yeah.
a long time ago where they didn't actually take you to jail, and I could run fast. I can't run fast no more.
You're like, I'll be the driver. You
Like
gotta
you,
find someone that actually want to get all those dream houses though, that would be willing to do the footwork. Hey,
yeah.
me.
Used to line that up because the bus stop used to be right out front of the mall. Hit a lick, catch the bus while it's pulling up, and hop on it, and you gone. He said, "Why'd you get away? They couldn't run fast like me."
And now I got my dream house, bitch.
Yeah. So that's
Oh, shit.
why God cursed me with bad knees, all the terrible shit I was doing at a young age.
They know that you're born to steal. My
He said,
God.
I'm gonna stop your ass. I'll give you some bad 80-year-old arthritic knees.
Give you crepitus.
he
Bone on
said,
bone.
he said, "Oh, you thought you was walking?"
Not
Fuck.
today.
Fuck.
Yeah, so yeah, that was one of the things that I saw that I thought was kind of interesting, just that controversy around Weird Barbie itself, as well as the merchandise prices and the fact that they're just ridiculously high. Okay. Hopefully it gets more reach or whatever to people that it resonates with.
Yeah.
I think that's most important, is that like if you think that your kid or someone you love can benefit from some message in it, then
Yeah.
I
If
think it would
it's
be important to see.
if it's meant for you, I hope that it reaches you.
Exactly. I think that's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my takes on everything Barbie movie. Overall hot take. I
Yeah.
loved it. And I love Barbie. 10 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. We'll watch again.
Overall hot take on Barbie is, if you're offended by it, I think that they did their job.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point of most media, is to invoke emotions, regardless if it's anger, happiness, sadness, whatever. If you
Yeah.
were touched by it in some emotional way, they did their job.
I
8 out of
agree.
10. I'd recommend go seeing it, especially if you have any nieces, sisters, whatever. Take them to go see this movie. It will help them feel like they are not crazy as they're growing up and going through the traumatic,
Getting their
like,
hormones.
yeah, the traumatic time of being a teenager. Take them to go see this movie to allow them, and keep your own opinion out of it. Let them feel validated
Yep.
by this
Yep.
movie.
And then ask them what they thought about it at the end.
and don't give them your opinion. Allow them to give their opinion and shut the hell up and listen to them.
Yes.
Because what they're
Exactly.
saying is what they're feeling. And it's not up to you to tell them what they're feeling. It's up to you to then respond and provide the best way possible to acknowledge those feelings and help them work through them. 8 out of 10. Go see Barbie. This has been another episode of Two Hot Ass Takes. Your co-host, Adrian, Kayla.
I'm Kayla.
Stay tuned. If you like our hot takes, let us know. If they're hot, let us know. If they're ass takes, whatever you got to say, let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you again for another episode. Peace.
Bye.